Elizabeth Warren is firing back after Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said that he's ready for a fight if the Massachusetts senator is elected president. This comes after The Verge published leaked audio from a July meeting between Zuckerberg and employees. He's heard candidly discussing a range of topics, from the company's competition to its social responsibility, but he also singles out Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren, blasting her plan to break up Facebook and other big tech companies.
If she gets elected president, then I would bet that we will have a legal challenge, and I would bet that we will win the legal challenge. Does that still suck for us? Yeah. I mean, I don't have to, have a major lawsuit against our own government. I mean, that's not like the position that you want to be in. But look, at the end of the day, if someone's going to try to threaten something that existential, you go to the mat and you fight.
Warren responded by tweeting, "What would really suck is if we don't fix a corrupt system that lets giant companies like Facebook engage in illegal anti-competitive practices, stomp on consumer privacy rights, and repeatedly fumble their responsibility to protect our democracy." Editor-in-chief of Wired magazine and CBS News contributor Nick Thompson joins me now from Montreal. Okay, Nick, so how much of this leaked audio gives us an insight into Zuckerberg's real thoughts on tech regulation and even what's happening inside of Facebook?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, it's clearly very frank conversation. He's speaking completely openly, much more openly than he does in his public interviews, than he does on stage. He's speaking what he really believes, and he lays out quite clearly. He doesn't want to have an antitrust fight, but if Elizabeth Warren is elected, she's going to bring down an antitrust law against his company, and he's going to fight back. It's what we know he would do, but he's just saying it in a way that's much less measured than usual.
So this critique of Warren, is Zuckerberg alone with this, or is he just saying what other folks in Silicon Valley, other executives just won't say out loud?
Oh, I think he's saying what everybody in Silicon Valley would say. And in fact, in some ways, I feel like he's being hit a little too hard. The Verge presented it as, incredible dark secrets revealed. And what really happened is he had an internal conversation where he said, look, if Elizabeth Warren wins, she's going to bring antitrust law against us. I love that the United States has the rule of law, so we will use the rule of law to fight back. Of course they're going to fight back on antitrust. The one part of his answer that I thought was kind of absurd was where he said that antitrust is an existential threat to Facebook. That's ridiculous. What Elizabeth Warren is proposing, what most people are proposing, is that you break WhatsApp and Instagram off from Facebook. That is not an existential threat in any way. So I actually think Elizabeth Warren's policy position is entirely justifiable, and Mark Zuckerberg's response is reasonable.
So earlier this year, our Ed O'Keefe actually asked Senator Warren why she believes big tech needs to be broken up. I want to play for you what she told him then.
Why does this have to be done?
Because the giant tech companies right now are eating up little tiny businesses, startups, and competing unfairly. We got to break these guys apart. You want to run a platform? That's fine. You don't get to run a whole bunch of the businesses as well. You want to run a business? That's fine. You don't get to run the platform.
So has Warren lit a fire, Nick, under these companies with this plan? Are they concerned? Are they worried?
Oh, they're totally worried. And so if you look at her answer, that first part, the big tech companies are buying up too many companies, that is aimed at Facebook, right? Facebook does buy up lots of its competitors. In fact, that's what it did. Argument. That's much more aimed at Google and at Amazon. That's less aimed at Facebook. To your question, has she lit a fire? I'm not sure if she's lit a fire as much as the fact that she is doing so well in the Democratic race that has lit a fire. Lots of people were talking about antitrust over the last 2 years. Lots of people were saying, break these companies up. They just weren't leading the polls in New Hampshire.
Yeah, no, it's such a good point. And I want to ask you before you go, Nick, about Senator Kamala Harris calling for Twitter to suspend President Trump's Twitter account because she says it violates their anti-bullying policy. The president already accuses Twitter of silencing conservative viewpoints. Does this request just add fuel to that fire? Where do you see this going?
It's going nowhere. I mean, Twitter's not going to ban Donald Trump. They've created an exemption for him. They may create slight tools that limit the reach of his tweets that violate their policies. They're not going to ban Donald Trump. This debate has been had. Twitter has had it internally. They're not going to do it. Kamala Harris knows that. She's just saying this to get attention and get us to talk about it. And yes, of course, talking about him more will just give Trump more grist for the mill, and he'll be able to say that, oh my gosh, Twitter is thinking about banning me. They're so biased against Republicans. And of course, the truth is that what's happening is both sides are trying to work the rest. Trump is trying to make sure that no limits are put on the reach of his tweets. The Democrats are trying to get Twitter to crack down a little bit. There's a lot of theater here, and Kamala Harris is playing into that. But no, Trump is not going to be banned from Twitter.
All right. Nick Thompson, so grateful you can join us from Montreal, Nick.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
You bet.